You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
The mainstream media is really the make-believe media. First, they make up the news, and then they make you believe it.
Hi, this is Susan Swift.
I'm highly successful, have been all my life. I have enjoyed successful careers in film, television, and law.
I'm Dan Wright, a father, a gun owner, a dog owner, and a Federalist.
I'm Susan Swift, and you are listening to Constitution and Culture on KLRN Radio,
where liberty and reason still reign.
Welcome to 2017, Constitution and Culture. I'm Susan Swift. Dan Wright is AWOL today, so it's just me. I'm short, sweet, and to the point.
kind of like a bayonet. You can find me on social media at Real Susan Swift and on my website, susanswift.net. I write regularly for Politichicks. I've been happily married for 23 years. I'm a mother of 7, and I'm a C word. That's right. I'm a conservative. I'm proud. I'm a married Republican Texan who loves God, family, and country. I've been an actress. I've been a lawyer. And I'm one conservative mother. So welcome. This is a great show. It's a great year because it's 2017. And guess what? Obama is spending his last 2 weeks in office. He's very busy pardoning people and moving things around like deck chairs on the Titanic, but he is on his way out. Hillary Clinton has been beaten like a rented mule, and we will soon have Donald J. Trump as our president, which is way better than anything the liberals had, by the way. So liberalism is screaming in its coffin. The first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is that there's going to be a march. Did you know that on Inauguration Day, January 20th, we're going to have tons and tons of people in Washington, D.C. celebrating the inauguration of Trump? And there's going to be liberal groups there, and there's going to be conservative groups there, and it's going to be one big party. And then the day after the inauguration, January 21st, Hillary's harpies will descend upon Washington, D.C. That's right. It's the fake inauguration. This will be Hillary's inauguration party. Because what happened was a liberal bra burner who lives in Hawaii and a former attorney, she can't wrap her head around the fact that her icon, her beloved Hillary, has lost. So she went to rant on social media, and a day or two later, there's a group formed, and now all of these liberal harpies who still can't accept an election and move on to a smooth transition, they have now organized the Women's March on Washington. They're staging another protest. This is yet another liberal protest of women and liberals who just can't accept the election. They're still whining and crying that Hillary won the popular vote, right? As if that matters, because that wasn't the system we ran under. It's called the Electoral College. They're still trying to get rid of that because that's part of the Constitution. And they haven't been able to do that. So they've decided we're going to march. We're going to all march on Washington. It's a women's march. So yes, one day after Trump is sworn in and the SEIU cleanup committee, all the unions are there sweeping the streets. One day after all of that, the left is going to stage Hillary Clinton's inauguration for its fawning media. This is all designed to grab headlines and get retweets before this thing ever even gets off the ground, because the Women's March is really a publicity stunt. And it's happening after the inauguration because these poor little buttercups, they just can't handle it. And so let's give them a shout out, shall we, with a special song just for these liberal bra-burning buttercups who can't handle an election.
Why don't you scream and pout, buttercup baby, when I let you down? Then a liberal crowd, and then worst of all, you always call baby the state up first. Oh, you're feeling so hurt, and you do. So need to stay, darling, incessant in circles you drove. So shut your mouth, buttercup, leave us alone.
I love that. Yeah, so all the little buttercups are going to be crying at the inauguration party a day late and $1 short. They didn't get organized in time to really effect a real protest. And by the way, the march has become some sort of a catch-all for a host of liberal causes. There was infighting in the beginning when they were saying, well, we don't have enough inclusiveness. We don't have enough groups that are feeling included in this march. And organizers are still scrambling to pull together the rest of the necessary permits. We got 2 weeks to go here. I mean, this is January 4th, and this thing is going to happen on the 21st. They still don't have all the necessary permits they need. They're still trying to raise millions of dollars to pull off the march, it's all about the money. and it's become a catch-all for everything from immigrant rights, that means illegal immigration, you guys. It's a dog whisper term. It's not just immigrants, it's illegal immigration, to police killings of African Americans. That's Black Lives Matter. That's the Soros group. And at its heart, it's a demand for equal rights for women. Equal rights for women. This is on the heels of watching a very, very powerful woman almost gain the most powerful office on the planet. And yet these liberal bra burners are still screaming about equal rights for women. They're harpies. Don't they see, how far we've come? It's ridiculous. But you know what? They have to agitate. They have to keep fussing. They have to always have a problem. Because without a problem, we can't have peace. We can't all just get along, right? No, we got to have a problem. So this is, again, the Women's March on Washington, a day late and $1 short on January 21st. It's an ineffective, fake activism. It's relying on the media to send a message, because that's what liberals do. We send a message. And just like Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, the Women's March is too little, too late, and too liberal. So it'll be fun to watch that. Now, in other news, the funny part is that, again, as we've seen with these liberal women who just can't accept the will of the people. They never do. The Congress, the Democrats in the Congress, they can't accept the will of the people either. Chuck Schumer is whining now because here's what's happened. Over the last 8 years, Obama's arrogance and the Democrats, to a lesser degree, their arrogance, they haven't been able to pass a lot of legislation through Congress, except for Obamacare. That's the big signature effort of Obama. You'll remember this happened in 2009. I got fired up about this. And what they did is they had obtained a supermajority in both houses, just enough to be able to pass legislation without one vote from the GOP. And this was Al Franken. He had stolen the election, figuratively speaking. There were lots of vote fraud in Illinois at the time. And Al Franken was the last little linchpin in the Democrat effort to get the supermajority in the Congress. And once they had that, they immediately jammed Obamacare down our throats, which is socialized medicine. It is the government grabbing 1/6 of the American economy. That's what it is. And they know that they'll never get that chance again, because from even before they cast their vote, I believe it was on December 23rd, it was right before the Christmas recess, and everybody was screaming about it. The people were not happy. We didn't want it, but they didn't care. They jammed it down our throat, and Obama signed it just in time for Christmas break and New Year's of 2010. Well, now it's 2017, and the GOP is a little bit running scared. They've now seen, Trump being elected, the ultimate outsider. They couldn't get their guys in. They couldn't get a Bush in. They couldn't get a more moderate, get along Republican. So they know that they've got to probably repeal that. And you've been hearing for months and months, maybe years, repeal and replace, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. Well, what does that mean? I'm not really sure. The first part of it I get. And we've all been demanding repeal Obamacare. It is killing our businesses. Our taxes have gone up because of it. And more importantly, our health care costs. You remember Obama kept promising that you were going to pay less and you're going to be able to, if you like your doctor, you're going to keep your doctor. And if you like your plan, you're going to keep your plan, right? That's what he said. Well, actually, on average, most Americans are paying more. They're paying on average $4,100 more for less coverage. They didn't get to keep their plan. They don't get to keep their doctor in a lot of times. I haven't been able to keep my doctor. My plan had to get changed. I know exactly what happened. And we're paying more for it. So everyone wants it repealed. And it's easier to repeal than to replace. And the Democrats know it. So Chuck Schumer is now whining. And he's trying. It's so funny because Trump is living in these Democrats' head rent free, and he isn't even sworn in yet. Schumer is whining about, and he went on the news. And he said, well, we have to, what the GOP is going to do is make America sick again. So he's making a play on make America great again. But no, it's make America sick again because the GOP is going to repeal Obamacare. 70% of Obama's last 8 years were accomplished with executive orders. And guess what? Trump has got a pen, just like Obama's got a pen, and he is going to be able to erase all of the things that Obama passed with a stroke of a pen. 70% of it, that's his agenda. The rest of it, most of it, is going to be Obamacare and some other legislation. And we actually have a slim majority in both the House and the Senate. And we can, if the GOP stays in control and focused, we can undo almost all of Obama's last years. So just like vanishing cream on a zit, we can make Obama fade away. Just like in the movie The Ten Commandments, when the Pharaoh commanded that the name of Moses be stricken from every obelisk, be stricken from every pylon, let the name of Moses never be mentioned again. That's what's going to happen to all of Obama's signature efforts, especially Obamacare. And the libs are beside themselves. It's epic. It is huge, if you will. The funny thing is that Chuck Schumer, they're trying their old playbook, which is they're demanding that, if the Republicans are going to scrap healthcare, you have to come up with a replacement plan because we won't consider it. If it's going to be repealed, you can't replace it unless we know what it is. I'd like to just remind Mr. Schumer that it was his colleague in the House, Nancy Pelosi, who said, well, we're going to have to pass it before you can see what's in it. Yeah, well, we're going to have to repeal it before we're even going to talk about replacing it. There's no replace nothing. I like the idea of private healthcare savings accounts. I like the idea of getting rid of socialized medicine altogether. What happened to just a doctor charging what he wants to and the market basically handling it? I think that, how about cross-state line competition? If you just allow healthcare providers to compete and not, right now what we have is a system where each state controls what insurance companies can operate in their state. It's necessary to a degree because you have to supervise and you want to make sure that the plans are running properly and that there's no fraud, etc. But you know what? We've got enough laws and we've got enough lawyers. If there's a real problem in a state, you're going to know it. You can sue it.
You've heard about the controversies within the bill, the process about the bill, one of the items. But I don't know if you have heard that it is a legislation for the future. Not just about health care for America, but about a healthier America, where preventive care is not something that you have to pay a deductible for or out of pocket. That prevention. It's about diet, not diabetes. It's going to be very, very exciting. But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it away from the fog of the controversy. We're very, you've heard about.
Away from the fog of the controversy. We have to pass the bill before you can know what's in the bill. We have to do it away from the fog of the controversy. I think that's great. I think we need to repeal the bill away from the fog of the controversy. Thank you very much, Mrs. Pelosi. Congresswoman Pelosi, lest I be insulting to my sister in solidarity, my fellow woman. Oh my gosh. So anyway, that's what Chuck Schumer is screaming about, is that the GOP must present. They don't seem to understand, these stupid liberals, that they are now in the minority. They've been relegated to the dustbin of legislative history now for at least the next 4 years. They're fringe people on the coasts. They've lost over 1,000 seats nationwide, and yet they're still demanding, because they know how to play the game. They're still sitting on their high horse saying, you have to come and kiss the ring. You have to show us what you intend to do because we don't approve. Now, hello, Mr. Schumer. Hello, Miss Pelosi. You lost. Epic battle over. We won. You lost. Be polite. Sit there and learn to lose with dignity. They're outnumbered in the Congress, and they can't really stop the Republicans from doing what they want to do, unless we have the rhino Republicans like, I think, what is it? Congresswoman, Olympia Snow. There's a couple of them, there are 3 or 4. And of course we have Lindsey Graham, and we have, McCain. Oh my gosh. So if those guys go wobbly in the Senate or in the House, yeah, they could cause some trouble. But right now we're going to be entering into a honeymoon period with Trump. He's going to have his first 100 days. He said he wants to get down to work. He's actually said he's not going to be going to a lot of these inauguration parties. He's going to just go to a couple or 1 or 2. He doesn't want to keep going. He says, I want to get to work. So he's setting the agenda, and I hope it's going to be a good one. I just love to see how the Democrats are just screaming that we have to somehow come to them. They're pretending. You got to watch for this as we go along. The Democrats, because they have their buddies in the media, with the lights and the camera and the lip gloss, and I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. That's the liberals. That's the Democrats. They're always ready for the media. They're the divas in Congress, and so they think the media is going to be helping them, and the media will. Hey, we've got NBC, who's now going to be paying a small fortune, a large fortune actually, to Megan Kelly from Fox. She's left Fox. Maybe she's going to be giving a fair and balanced perspective over there at NBC. You never know. It could be. She's going to have her own daytime show, and she really is going to command. She's going to be the anchor that I guess she's always wanted to be. When I was watching her behavior during the election, I was wondering, she's not happy over here at Fox. She wants to be bigger. So we'll see how the media continues to treat the Democrats, who have been beaten like rented mules, and that's good for them. They need to stay politically beaten. But they're counting on the media to give them their close-up every day, and they're just going to be rabble-rousing, just like President Obama, soon to be former President Obama. Won't that be nice to say when that happens? Soon to be former President Obama. Guess what? He's not going to retire to his home state of Hawaii. No. He's going to move into D.C., and he's going to continue to lead the Democrat Party in D.C., which is a great thing. This is so great. You know why? Because he has sucked all the air out of the room. He has effectively, in a way, helped defeat Hillary, because he never was truly enthusiastic about her, even in the beginning. He tried to stay aloof and regal, and she's gone now. She's done. And so the Clintons are really, truly off the world stage. I mean, Saudi Arabia is probably wanting a return on their donations. So Obama is now the head of the Democrat Party, and he's going to stay there. He's not going to get off the stage and allow fresh blood and new perspective to come in. And most of their bench is very old. I mean, what, Biden? We're gonna have Biden run in 4 years, really? I mean, the only fairly interesting idea, and it's still kind of old hat, is, well, we're gonna have Michelle Obama run for president in 4 years, because she's got the Obama name and she's black, so that's what worked last time, and so they're gonna add on top of that gender. So now we're gonna have we're going to have the first black female running for president. So we'll see if that works. But they don't have any new faces. They got nothing new. They're holding no cards. They're trying to bluff at a poker game, and they don't have the cards for it. So that's what's going to be happening. So it is a really happy new year. And it's going to be a year of hope and change, the real kind of hope and change, where we're going to change Obamacare. We're going to repeal it. If our Congress has fully understood we mean business, we the people. We threw out a lot of people and said, you can't do this anymore. You need to start listening to us. We don't want socialized Medicare. We don't want socialism. We want individualism. And after we get back from the break, we're going to play a part of Trump's very gracious speech as he sets the tone for what is to come, especially for his first 100 days, and how he is going to, I think he understands this. I hope he can do it. We need to move toward healing the division and healing the nation that Obama and the Democrats have been ripping apart, because, It's always divide and conquer. That's what the Democrats have been doing for 8 years. And you know what? We're going to be able to heal. Hey, how about repeal and heal? I like that. That's what Trump's going to be doing. Repeal and heal. And they can do that very quickly. And we'll play a little bit of that when we get back from our break. Thanks for listening. This is Constitution and Culture. I'm Susan Swift.
Oh, absolutely thrilling. I must say that we've got all... Happy days are here again. We're heading across the river. Soon your cares will all be gone. There'll be no more from now on. From now
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
This is
And we're back.
Madison.
This is Susan Swift, and you're listening to Constitution and Culture. Dan is AWOL tonight, so you're listening to me. And before the break, we were talking about Chuck Schumer and the liberals and how they cannot wrap their heads around the fact that Donald Trump has promised to erase a whole lot of the damage that Obama has wrought over these last 8 years. I think what is very important, and I'm going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt, as you all know who've been listening, he wasn't my first, second, third, or fourth choice. But you know what? Once he presented himself as the nominee, it became imperative that we beat Hillary Clinton. And he did. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to conservatives. Thanks be to Donald Trump. We needed to beat Hillary, and we did. And now we have a limited time. We have at least 2 years with a slim majority in the Congress and in the Senate, and with a Republican in the White House. We have a unique opportunity to reverse and repeal a lot of the things that Obama did with his pen, with his phone, and his signature legislation, which was Obamacare. As I was saying before the break, we need to repeal and heal our country, because all that the Democrats and Obama have been doing has been divide and conquer, and to agitate and to ignore the will of the people, to create division on race, along cultural lines, along economic lines, any way they could to divide our people. Because together, we the people, when we come together, as we've seen in World War I, World War II, you name it, we can save the world. We can do anything together as a people. And most Americans want that. I think that 99% of Americans are good people. There's 1% who are just, meh. And I'm not talking about the 1%ers and the rich, so stop it. I'm talking about in the population, there's always a few bad apples who don't want to assimilate. They don't want to be part of a positive, happy culture. Most of them are in the Liberal Party, the leaders and the elite and the liberals, because it doesn't profit them. They can't seize power and control money if everyone's happy and if everyone's getting along. Liberals thrive on conflict and divisiveness and destroying the unity that is America. And I think it's important that we do come together and heal. And Mr. Trump, President-elect Trump, said as much in his speech very recently, and I'll play you a little piece of that. What he said we must do now as we go forward together, starting now, to repeal some of the damage that Obama has done.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
I think that's a really good sentiment, and I think we should all give him the benefit of the doubt, just like we gave Obama the benefit of the doubt. I did. I wasn't very convinced that he was going to take advantage of it, because I had done some studying on then Mr. Obama and how radical he was, but I truly did sincerely hope that somehow, as the first black president, with the background that he had and being elected as from the Democrat side, perhaps he could reach across the aisle and heal a nation and bring together and finally end the unpleasantness of racial discord. But he did the exact opposite. So it's important that we do come together, and it's important that we actually extend the hope. And we have to suspend a little bit of our disbelief. Conservatives are very, they're very, how do I say it? They are jumping on the criticize the Trump wagon after he's been elected. I have some doubts about him, but it's not going to help heal our nation if we continue to bash him. The Democrats are going to bash him every day in the media. It's going to be, what can we do to trash Trump today? It's going to be trash Trump, trash Trump. I'm surprised I haven't seen the hashtag yet for that, but I'm sure it's out there. The important thing is that we give him the benefit of the doubt, because we together have to save our country. We have a country to save, and it's not going to be easy if we just all sit in our little safe spaces or in our echo chambers and continue to fight. We actually have to reach out in a positive way. That doesn't mean that we as Republicans, and I don't expect this from the GOP, that doesn't mean we reach across the aisle and start embracing these Democrat hags and these Democrat buffoons who are refusing. They're already saying that they're not going to partner with us in any legislation. I'm not talking about politically. I'm talking about socially, and in ways that we reach out to each other and be good neighbors, and get back to just the regular business of being Americans. That's really important, I think. Other things that have been going on in the news that I think are important to note is that what we're seeing now is that Obama, just in the last months of his presidency, and just now the story is coming out today, that he's moving deck chairs on the Titanic. I'm not sure why, but here's what he's doing. There are reports that Vladimir Putin is deploying nuke-ready missiles in the Russian province of Kaliningrad, which borders Poland and Lithuania. And what we've heard now is that Obama is moving special forces into this region. He started moving them months ago. Now, I'd like to know, well, there's only limited number of special forces. It's not like they're limitless, right? We have a volunteer army, and they're stretched beyond breaking, and they're not paid very well, and they've been told that they're not very good for things, and I hate how liberals treat our military. But I digress. What Obama is doing is he's moving these limited special forces from somewhere, maybe Iraq, who knows where, right? And he's moving them into kind of an area of conflict with Russia. The funny thing is that the reason why he's doing that is because I think it's a ploy to be able to continue to remind people, Americans, that, Trump and Russia, they were in league with each other, and Russia hacked the election. That was the fake news story that we heard. They couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that America simply voted against Hillary Clinton. As I've said, the Russians didn't make me vote for Hillary Clinton, The Russians didn't make me vote for Trump. They had nothing to do with it. Hillary Clinton made me vote for Trump. I saw the emails from Podesta. I saw the Debbie Wasserman Schultz and things that they had done. They obviously, the DNC rigged the election. If anybody did any rigging of the election, it was the DNC. They threw Bernie Sanders under the bus, and we've got absolute proof of that thanks to WikiLeaks. Oh, and by the way, WikiLeaks, the editor-in-chief of that, Julian Assange, had a long sit-down interview with Sean Hannity, and he affirmatively stated over and over again, he put the lie to to Obama's claim and the liberals' claim that somehow the Russians hacked the election. That's the fake news spin that they've been putting out. That's not true at all. The source for all of the Podesta emails, first of all, as Julian Assange said in this interview with Sean Hannity, he said a 14-year-old could have hacked into Podesta's email because Podesta got a phishing email scam. He asked his IT crew, he said, hey, is this legit? They texted back to him, yeah, it's legit. They now claim it was just one of these autocorrect things. My thumb hit the wrong button. I don't know what I said. It wasn't legit. I meant not legit, not legit. Well, in any event, Podesta got the okay from his IT guy that, yeah, this was okay, this link to click on this phishing link. Once he did that, his emails were hacked. And Assange has affirmatively stated it was not Russia, it was not a state actor. What I believe, and others have also come up with this, is, you know what? There's probably some really disgruntled Bernie Sanders Democrat, somebody on the inside who got all of this and sent it over. I'm just suspecting, because it's not a state actor, it's not Russia. But you see, that plays very well in Peoria, doesn't it? That's what the Russians and the Obamas and the Trumps and all that, they're all in league together, and they're controlling the world. It's the one global economy. It's just kind of this tinfoil hat theory that somehow Russia was hacking the election. And this hasn't been stated. If you go back and you read exactly what Obama has said and Democrats have said, they've been parsing their words very carefully, like a lawyer. They haven't said that Russia hacked the election to benefit Donald Trump. That has been implied, but they haven't said it that way. They'd like you to believe that somehow Russia hacked the election, and it's not true. And they haven't said it exactly like that. They just believe that somehow they were interfering in our electoral process, and they don't have any proof of that. They got 5 agencies who've said, no, they didn't even mention WikiLeaks. So that whole storyline is falling apart. There was no hack into our election system. There was a hack into the DNC and Podesta, and that's where the truth came out.
There is no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections, in part because they're so decentralized and the numbers of votes involved. There's no evidence that that has happened in the past, or that there are instances in which that will happen this time.
Why, thank you, President Obama, for making my point for me. It didn't happen. But you know what? That's what they have to say. And so feeding into this mantra that's going to come along, and the reason why they're saying this over and over and over again is because, again, it's to delegitimize Trump's victory, to delegitimize his presidency before it even starts. Just like they tried to do with Bush and the hanging chads and the vote in Florida, and Gore really won, and then Bush, he was hanging chads and he shouldn't be president. Remember that whole thing? It took years for them to drag Bush's popularity ratings down. They're already starting with Trump. They know he's a popular president. He ran circles around them with Twitter, and they're mad. And so they're just going to keep up this litany that he's not a legitimate president. That's why they've complained about the popular vote. Well, Hillary won the popular vote. Yeah, and since when is that how we elect presidents? They don't care. So the whole idea of now moving special forces into proximity to Vladimir Putin and Russia and Lithuania, that's I believe it's because of it perpetuates the Trump is in league with Putin, because then in 15 days Trump can come in and say, look, move the guys back. Then it'll look like they'll be able to come up with a story and say Trump helps Putin, or they'll be able to spin it some way that somehow that Trump is now in league with helping Putin take over more and more of Lithuania, etc. Because he'll just put things maybe back to where they were. But because I don't see the advantage. And again, I haven't read the intel, the briefing, the super secret intelligence reports that would explain why it would be necessary to move, special forces. But then again, President Obama doesn't read them either. So we don't know why he's doing that other than for political reasons, because we know he doesn't read his briefings. He doesn't go to those. If there's really something going on the Lithuanian border, I guess we'll know about it. But right now, I think this is a fake war. That's what I've called it. Hashtag fake war. I think that size matters and timing is everything. So why now? What does Obama gain? He gets to have this fake news story that Russia hacked the election, and somehow Trump is now going to be in league with Russia. So I think that's nonsense, but that's what's going on out there. And
because
finally, of course,
democracy by definition works by consent, not by force.
Yeah, I know, but you don't seem to know that. I know you say that, President Obama, but you don't act like it. We are the people. We, the people, consent to be governed. And we had an election, and your third term, Hillary Clinton, lost. So you need to actually move back to Hawaii and retire there. Don't stay in D.C. We don't want you here. We really don't. So it's going to be a very happy year, except that Obama is going to be sucking up all of the air in D.C., and he's not going to let anybody take over anything. And it's going to be pretty funny.
If I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it. I know that in conversations that I've had with people around the country, even some people who disagreed with me, they would say the vision, the direction that you point towards is the right one.
We're going to take another short break and we'll be
I can't stand listening to that guy, can you? I really can't stand it. I'm going to be so happy. You know what? In just a few days, we're not going to have to listen to him bloviate anymore and go, I'm going to be so happy. Every day is another Never Hillary Day for me, and we're never going to have to listen to Obama drone on and on. The signature issue that we should be very, very hopeful and very happy for, his signature issue, Trump's signature issue, was immigration. And there's a new report that's just come out right after Christmas, and it highlights the issue of immigration. Except for the influx of immigrants, America's birth rate is falling below replacement rate. Like Italy and like Japan, whose populations are doomed to die out, America is also risking such an end with population growth now at an all-time, and it's an 80-year low. That's the lowest since 1936. If we don't turn that around, if we don't start having more children, there won't really be the America as we know it. Liberals vampirize our children beginning in kindergarten. There was a caller into Rush Limbaugh's show who proudly crowed that the ladies of the left, I think that means LOL, don't you? Ladies of the left. It sure makes me laugh. Anyway, the ladies of the left have been in control of your children through the government public schools over the last 40 years, and they're just going to continue to undermine our values. These liberals complete the ideological transformation in college, convincing the next generation that socialism, not individualism, is the promised utopia to all of the world's ills. And of course, the entire point of college, other than to just increase government control of millennials via mounting debt, is to convince these 20-somethings to chase their corporate dreams of riches and for women to compete and thrash their male counterpart.
Deportations through executive order. That's just not the case because there are laws on the books that Congress has passed.
And the interesting thing is that it's what the left is doing. They're turning women into men. They're turning men into women. And let's not forget the third gender, the it's among us. The left has embraced the zeitgeist of the Teutonic linguistic neuter gender, it. They are promoting transgenderism, and it is a form of institutional child abuse, transgenderism, according to the president of the American College of Pediatricians. Transgenderism is the latest social engineering fad which the ladies of the left are pushing onto prepubescent children, and it's actively turning children into sterile androgynists. The chemicals they take make them sterile, like bees. These chemically altered children will be incapable of natural reproduction, and that means they're ideally suited to be corporate workers and corporate drones. I believe if the notion of American exceptionalism is to survive the onslaught of liberal socialistic transformation, the rising generation must do more than just replace itself. America needs mothers to bear, nurture, and raise and educate children who will defend the notions that we hold dear. Liberty is only one generation away from genocide, and that is precisely why the left promotes population control, from birth control to abortion to asexuality and now transgenderism, from energy pricing to the FDA, leftists in the government are desperate to suppress the population, and they are working feverishly to transplant socialist-minded populations from other countries here, naturalizing as many as possible so that they can permanently sway the balance of power in this nation away from individualism before regular Americans wake up and see what's going on. That's the battle of immigration. And Trump knew it. He nailed it. And if he builds the wall, as he promised, we've already got the legislation. All we have to do is the political will. We can build the wall. It's absolutely vital that we do so, because the more immigrants that we import from socialized countries, and most of them are, let's face it, okay? Illegal immigrants are coming here and they're not assimilating. We already have a lot of legal immigration coming, and it's hard for them to assimilate. Add to that more and more illegal immigration, and we have so many people who are used to a socialized world. They're used to going to the government for help, that they naturally do that here. They haven't been assimilated. We are going to cut our own throats by unchecked immigration.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
What you can do for your country. That was a very good point that President Kennedy made long ago. A culture of self-reliance puts the lie to the need for a big government population control. Self-reliant people, by definition, do not burden fellow citizens or demand increased government. They support and grow a free economy and provide even more opportunities outside of government control. That's why the left embraces the notion of decreased fertility rates, of a
freedom
zero
is never more than
growth.
one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
And that was President Ronald Reagan, and he is right. We have a duty as American citizens to pass on what we know to the next generation. It's a very fine line to be able to say, well, you have a duty to raise children, because that's not quite what I'm saying. But mothers are the most important people in America. Mothers who are willing to raise that next generation. And if you doubt the power of a mother to shape Americans' history, I just would point you to no one other than Ann Dunham. That's right, President Barack Obama's own mother. She only had one child, Ann Dunham, but she raised that child well. She inculcated in him radical socialist ideology, ensuring that young Barack would grow up totally dedicated to the socialist cause. Through her efforts, one mother successfully transformed America through her son. Conservative women can do the same. Women who believe in independence and self-reliance are the very sort of Americans who should be having as many children as possible to counter Ann Dunham's legacy of Barack Obama. So, controlling the wall, building the wall, defending our borders, Trump renegotiating trade policies, changing tax policies to be more family-friendly, reducing regulatory burdens so that families can work and save more and have more money so that they feel more comfortable to be able to say, yeah, we can afford to have children. That's all part of it. Because if we don't do it, we are dying as American people, as the ideology of America, unless we either have a lot more children or unless we go out as conservatives and convert liberal socialists to true conservative causes. We have to do one or the other, or America will be no more. And fortunately, we have at least 2 years now with a wonderful chance, the Senate, the House, and the White House all together under one Republican control, to roll back the socialism and the big government policies that are hurting families. I hope we do it. I think we will. And together, we can see the resurrection of America under a new, healing, government. That's Constitution and Culture. Thanks so much for listening. And this program is dedicated to Herbert, who helped me get my first Apple computer, and I thank him very much. Until next week, I'm Susan Swift. You can find me at Real Susan Swift on social media. You can also find me at my website, susanswift.net. You can find me here on Wednesday nights, Constitution and Culture, and I write occasionally for politichicks.com.